Giving yourself permission. My name is Amy Ballantyne. Welcome to Power to the People Pleasers. I'm so excited to have my guest Val here. Welcome, Val.
Hi, Amy. So excited to be here.
Oh, this is going to be great. So, you are an international presenter who promotes mental and physical well-being through Drom. We're going to talk about Drom in a minute so everybody knows what that means. But I'd love to know, we're here on Power to the People Pleasers, an empowerment podcast to help those of us who might be recovering people pleasers on this journey. Have you ever been a people pleaser? And if so, what did that look like for you?
Oh, yes. And when I thought about this, I'm like, wow, have I ever been a people pleaser? And, it goes way back. And maybe we all have in some way, shape, or form, but way back even in high school days, in relationships where you just know it isn't right, but you're afraid to do something about it. And I found myself in a few situations like that, quite toxic. But I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to let anyone down. And, even getting married, knowing that it wasn't the right thing, but on the outside, it looked perfect. And you start to question yourself. And I did that. And then even to creating a business, something that was my passion, my baby. And then started to doubt myself, started to doubt my self-worth, feeling like I wasn't enough. And that translates into just things in my circumstance. It led to me losing the business and having to fight for it, and then having to walk away and learning that I gave my power away and I wasn't true to myself, and I wasn't believing in myself
Mm.
to just speak up and do and say what I believed and what I needed for me. So it led to a few things. And then I learned along the way a little bit more how to get my power back and how to feel that inspiration again. So I started another business. And then I started the feeling of self-worth, self-doubt again, which led me to get a job, a real job, I'll say. And I was in there for a year and a half. And then my soul was just crying out to me that this wasn't right. It wasn't for me. And I decided to quit. I decided to leave and to take a chance on myself again. And what I truly, truly loved in my heart and in my soul, and feeling that alignment, I needed to listen to me. I needed to come back, take my power back, and just be true to myself. And that is where I'm currently at. am I am showing up. I am showing up as my best self every day, as best that I can, and really taking time to connect with myself, listen to what I need, and acknowledge that, and just put one foot in front of the other. Some days it's harder than others, as we I think all know, but
Yeah.
it
Wow.
it's been a journey.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing so openly. So many different nuggets here. Honestly, so many things you brought up about relationships in high school, about merit. I mean, there's so many layers that we could dig into here on how people pleasing can show up in many, many ways in our life. And, even bringing it back into your business. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sure that I know myself and other listeners, it helps for us to see that we're not alone. We're not alone going through this, and but there is power on the other side. There is this. I'm celebrating you so much for the energy that you're showing about how you are now living this place of listening to yourself more and doing what makes you feel good. I feel like that's part of when we know that we're like I call it the road to recovery of being a, recovered people pleaser is when we start to take those actions that feel more aligned and thinking those thoughts that feel more aligned to who we are. And it's not about all the other people around us. So thank you. I'd love to know if you could share for the listeners who don't know what Drom is, what does that, what does that mean?
Sure. Well, Drom
Mhm.
is drum and ohm. So I take the drumming, but using a fitness ball. So we're drumming on a fitness ball.
So fun.
And then we bring in the ohm. So meditation, mindfulness. So it is an activity, but I like to think of it as an experience that I take people through where we start out getting grounded, connecting to the breath, and really giving ourselves permission to be present and in the moment and to play and have fun. And then we move and we get energized and we shift the energy in our bodies and in our minds, and we just allow ourselves to almost like be a big kid. And it's very playful, it's very fun, it's great energy, it's very positive space. And then I finish by taking folks into either a guided meditation, a little bit of a visualization, but just a calm, quiet place. And so it feels so magical to me because folks are first out of their heads and in the moment. They're playing and having fun. And then taking them into this quiet place, it's almost like the body and the mind has calmed down enough to allow them to be there. And that is what I have learned for me is where the power is being still, is allowing ourselves, right? That space. I see you nodding, giving ourselves. I even get like emotional because it's so true. It's so powerful. So bringing together, oh, look at me, bringing together.
You're amazing.
Oh my goodness. It's just so powerful. And I've learned for me, this is how I can bring myself back into alignment if I'm feeling like I'm, you know, jumped off the rail a little bit or fallen off the rail a little bit. Is come back to that stillness, come back to that place of allowing yourself and giving ourselves permission to stop and be still. It's can be tricky in these the way we live in very busy societies, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of noise, but no one else knows what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. For those people who are listening to the podcast and not watching, this was a moment of real deep passion that Val is sharing. Like you can see it all over your face that you are living and breathing your passion and your purpose. So thank you for doing this work.
Thank you for allowing me to share it. It just
It's incredible. So you've brought up this topic, the topic that we're talking about today, this power of giving yourself permission. And I love this connection. You know, if we talk about the power of giving yourself permission, first off, from the perspective of playfulness and fun, why do you think that is so important when it comes to stress relief?
well, if you think back to when you were a kid, and I don't know about you, but I have a lot of memories of playing and it being very positive and happy and no fear and no stress. And as we get older, we lose that. We lose a lot of that. And in just seeing through Drom, especially in seeing people play and how they light up and how the energy completely shifts to a much more playful and light feeling. I think in our world of being stressed and overwhelmed and busy and anxious, being playful and having fun brings you into the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you can't be stressed and anxious. You can't be in those two places at one time.
Yeah.
So I think the more we can allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to play, it's truly powerful.
It is. It is. It is so powerful. And I'd love to know from your perspective when we're talking about giving ourselves permission, where does what is the link that you see? I know what I see, but what is the link you see between the power of giving yourself permission and being a people pleaser?
Well, if we feel that we don't deserve, if we don't deserve to take time out of our busy day, or caring for someone else, or worrying what someone else might think if we took time for ourselves to play.
Yeah.
I think if we stopped and just thought about it for a little bit, and actually once you experience it, come back to that feeling of what it did for you.
Mhm.
If you haven't experienced it, go back to those childhood days. Just close your eyes and try to remember what it was like when you were playing, whether you were running through fields or through big
Adults, yeah.
puddles,
Yeah.
or swinging, playing in the
Mhm.
park, whatever it was, where you did feel that joy. And then see what it feels like to give ourselves a little bit of permission, just for a little bit.
Yeah. I
Takes
think that where I would layer on to that, it's also the link I see around that and people pleasing is this fear of being judged, fear of being not liked, not fitting in, all of those things as it relates to, oh, well, what will people think if I go and do this activity? What will people think if they see me swinging on the swings? And I would say, who the heck
yeah,
cares?
like,
but
I wanna join them.
that's
Exactly.
because I think I'm again I'm further on my journey in some ways of releasing the people pleasing in some ways,
Right.
uh, right? In that I'm okay to go and sit on a swing and play. I'm okay to make funny faces and dance like a fool sometimes. I'm okay. There's different ways where I would feel the worry and concern that people wouldn't like me. But I love that you're creating this space where individuals can challenge themselves to come out, face that feeling of, oh, what will people think if I'm doing this kind of action, and just move past it and see what a release it is. What a wonderful feeling it is to play and to have that fun. It's
I am
very good.
so glad that you just said all of that, because that is exactly what is happening
Mhm.
when we are drumming and when there is a group, because it is this safe space. And as folks might get started and they are a little, you know, self mm, just not sure. They're just not
Yeah,
sure, right? Am I being
yeah,
judged? Who's watching me? By the time we get into it, even a few minutes, I think people forget. People
yeah.
forget that they're there and they're having fun. And it just is such a natural progression into a playful space. And
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
kind of feel like I'm tricking people into
It's great, you're helping them.
I really feel like it's a bit of a trick, because yeah, we're gonna have some fun, but there's so much more that happens when they're there.
Yeah.
And like you said, on your journey, you have discovered ways, and you're past the people pleasing in some aspects, right? Where
Mhm.
you don't care so much what other people would think. But
Mhm.
there is still a lot of that happens. And when folks are in a group and they start to feel safe and comfortable, they let go. And
Mhm.
then they can experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's when I think a breakthrough starts to happen.
Yeah. I love this topic, this concept of giving yourself permission. You brought up the idea of taking care of yourself. If you are busy taking care of others, how are you filling your cup? Giving yourself permission to find activities like Drom, to find these places that give you that safe space to fill your own cup. Tell me about what the feedback is from some of the individuals who have come to your practice.
Oh, it's just been so fun. A lot of times folks will say, this was so fun. I didn't even feel like exercise. So they've exercised
Mm,
their bodies. They might be sweating, but they didn't feel like they were exercising.
yeah.
Just how they feel much more energized and calm at
Mhm.
the end. Um, just, I have women who will say, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. I haven't felt
Mm,
that much joy in a long time. And there's just a lot of it's just playful. If you just think of a group
Mhm.
of adults playing together and what they're
It's
what they're being
amazing.
decorated, yeah, and the energy is just very light and it's very happy and positive. And that is my intention, is to make it
Mhm.
that way. And then wherever folks decide to go on their journey from there, that is up to them because we're all at a different place. But
Mhm.
my hope is that it opens up a door, even just a crack, for them to experience and feel what it's like to truly tap
Mhm.
into that inner child and to giving yourself permission.
Amazing. Amazing. So I'm so curious. How did this come to be? Like how?
It's a good question. This started 17 years ago
Wow.
with another business and with kids in schools, and
Mhm.
just seeing how it transformed some of these kids and
Yeah.
just gave them an outlet. And then just over the years now, I've transferred to doing adults in a corporate setting and
Mhm.
really kind of focusing on that mental health piece, well-being,
Yeah.
self-care, again, giving ourselves permission.
Yeah.
And when you come back to when you said pouring from a full cup, where you can't pour from an empty cup, is we need to take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
And this is one way. And Drom is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social. So just in, I think, seeing for myself what it does for others, but also you can imagine every single time I do it, I get filled up.
Wow, I bet.
So much from not only moving and hitting a ball is a very great stress reliever. Right?
Yes.
It
Yes.
feels good, but also the energy that I'm getting back, and it
Mm.
brings me into the present moment. It allows me to play, and
Yes.
it's just it's so powerful for myself,
Mm.
and know that that's why I'm here.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And so the idea now is that people can attend these drone practice events in locations and maybe at their office place. Is that the idea?
So right now, what's happening is companies are reaching out, and I will go in to
Amazing.
do a drone session with their teams, or I did one as a family event
Cool.
on an island that was a lot of fun. So kids and adults together.
Mhm.
It retreats. So a
Mhm.
lot of times when a company is going offsite, part of their mission and focus is on self-care and is on well-being. So I will come and do some sessions there. And then locally, we've had a few Drome and wine nights. So Drome and social.
Fun.
Yes, it's so those
Wow.
are starting to spread as well. So there's a few other locations that we'll be adding soon, and
Very
that is
cool.
one way for folks to come out and give it a try.
And do you then recommend people are doing this at home in addition, or is it like it's the experience in that moment that is key?
There I do have videos online that folks can do
Oh,
at
cool.
home, and you can use a pillow with wooden spoons. Put a pillow on your chair and wooden spoon. So that is something that I've done, right, when we were all online. But
Smart.
now that we are back in person and getting
Mhm.
to experience that connection with people
Mhm.
again,
Yeah,
if you're able to experience it that way,
it's
that is
amazing.
really powerful. It is a lot of fun when we're in person and able to do it in a group. So
I
I
bet.
would suggest, if anyone listening, not in our geographical area, that I love traveling. So I'm happy to go anywhere to bring this to a group. And I travel with lots of equipment. I've figured out ways
Mhm.
to make all that happen. So yeah, happy to
Amazing.
set up anywhere and share this experience of joy and playfulness with as many people
Amazing.
as I can.
So, as we wrap up our conversation today on the power of giving yourself permission, what would be your final thoughts to encourage the listeners?
I'm going to come back to what you had said, is that we can't pour from an empty cup. We need to
Mhm.
pour from a full cup. And when we're on an airplane, the first thing they say is to put your own oxygen mask on first. And
Mhm.
it is so true. And whether to this point you've been able to do that, or you haven't been able to give yourself permission to focus on you, I would highly recommend giving it a try. And whether it's sitting for 5 minutes just quietly in a place and just breathing, listening to the birds, whatever it might be, but starting to feel the power in that, in giving yourself permission.
I love it.
Because we need to fill our cup so we can show up and be there for others, and to show up as our most authentic and best self.
Lovely. Wow. What a great message, Val. And I feel like the places where we can do this work, right? Giving ourselves permission is especially when we hear ourselves say, well, I need to, I should, I have to. Those are great indicators of
Exactly.
moments where we can give ourselves permission to release the pressure, to release the stress, to release, to just say, as you're saying, to take 5 minutes. I love that. I love that you mentioned that doesn't have to be this giant ordeal,
No, it does not. It
right?
does not.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So, individuals can connect with you at dromepractice.com as well as on Instagram and Facebook. You have both Drone Practice and at Val Shah. So grateful that you could be here today, Val. Thank you so much for being our guest here.
Thank you, Amy.
I hope you have a wonderful day. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Power to the People Pleasers. Please stay tuned for the next episode coming soon. Have a great day.